I'm supposed to. Watch out for the people that ain't close to. Speak a little something you could toast to. I ain't tryna hear about what you won't do. Moving like I'm into. Hit the ground running like the rent do. Speak a little something that you're into. I ain't tryna hear about what you been through. Like hold up, say what's the hold up. I got the pack, who got the roll up? I'm tryna pull up. It seem like every time I show up, it gotta go up. See the drip, they see the glow up. Oh now they know us. See it's funny how my pockets out of shape, but I'm fit for the flex. Clear the phone call, hit my chick with a text. Parlay through the bird with my drip from the checks. Save a couple hundred by your with the rest. I prefer my reefer with Henny and Coke. Please don't be stingy, got plenty to smoke. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Seem like they doing the most for the clout. Did what I said so they know what I'm about. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Ayy, winning like I ought to. I ain't wanna do it, but I got to. Smoking what my doctor told me not to. Got these wishing they was hot too. Ballin' like I need to. Got my exes wishing for a redo. Smell the marijuana when I speed through. Hit her with a tip, that's a preview. Hold up, wait up, get your weight up. Shit, get your money, not your hate up. Boy, draw a play up. I flip my wrist, it a layup. She wanna lay up. I gotta get it, I'ma stay up. I'm all the way up. I got my pay up. I ain't playing with you. I'm a coach now. Commentating through the most now. I be somewhere booted with my toes down. Make little baby tooted with her nose down. I prefer my reefer with Henny and Coke. Please don't be stingy, got plenty to smoke. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live. Seem like they doing the most for the clout. Did what I said so they know what I'm about. Show up and act up and back to the crib. I do not stun, I just rap what I live.
Showtime!
What's up, good people? Let me know that you can hear me in the chat by typing questions. Put questions in the chat because when it comes to this story, I don't know about y'all, but I got more questions than answers. It looks like we have great news that Carlee Nicole Russell has been found or has resurfaced, come home. She's been admitted to the hospital and is back at home, even recuperating with her family, which is great news because when we heard about this story a couple days ago, really it kind of just went viral yesterday, but heard about the story, it wasn't looking great, but we were very hopeful and prayerful, and prayers were answered. So we should all be happy. I should have said, let's put rejoice. Now, there's a lot to this, and I was going to cover this story yesterday. I was going to go live with y'all. I had put my notes together and all that, but y'all know I like to deep dive. I like to do too much research. And by the time I got done, I was tired, and I didn't feel like getting on live. And then today, when I woke up, because I'm like, okay, I'll go live some point today. I'm going to wrap up a couple things with the, pulling the images and all that, videos for y'all. All of a sudden, she found. I wasn't online yesterday, so I didn't know that came up last night that she was found. And I'm like, okay, well, this is beautiful news. But then all of this other stuff started coming out. And yeah, it's been very interesting. So I decided versus going to, pushing it to tomorrow, because I honestly almost didn't have the energy again. I took an evening nap and I was like, let me just go. I gotta be with my people. We gotta talk about this because this story is just like a lot. And the longer I wait, the more is happening. So anyway, and the more I have to redo my notes. So anyway, I did put in the chat, thank you to the 95% of you who have hit that like button on your way in, the thumbs up. If you haven't, please do as soon as you can. And also don't forget that you can subscribe to this channel for more. We have more stories, and I've spent the weekend working on a ton of stories. I got like 6 or 7 stories we will be doing this coming week. Like they're pretty much ready to roll, which is good. So y'all be saying a lot of me this coming week. So and then I put it in the poll if you're a night owl. I was just trying to get a poll. So 69% of y'all said not yes, 30% said no. I was trying to take the post because part of me was like, ooh, I'm getting on so late, but I need to get this out. And I was like, y'all can watch it on the replay if y'all not night owls. But thank you to everyone who's viewing. And I'm gonna do another poll. Y'all know how I do. I do polls as we go through the story. First, we're gonna talk about the updates on the story because I'm pretty sure many of you have been keeping up with this story. And so we'll start with the updates that maybe you've heard, maybe you've seen, maybe you haven't. And then we'll move into basically just talking about, how we feel about the story, new developments, speculations, all that stuff, the gossip part of it. So basically, for those of you who may not be familiar, this young lady, Carlethia, Carlee Nicole Russell, went missing on, was it Friday? I forgot, y'all, whatever date, the 14th. She was in her vehicle. She called 911. She was on the Interstate 495, if I'm not mistaken, 493. And she was saying that she saw a toddler on the highway and called 911, Interstate 459. She saw a toddler on the interstate. She pulled over. She got off the phone with 911, got on the phone with her brother's girlfriend or fiance, because I keep hearing different versions of who the lady is or the relation. But anyway, she was on the phone with her. They said that they heard her mom ended up getting on the phone as well. They heard her call out to the toddler. They don't know if it was a boy or a girl. Next thing you know, they hear her scream. They hear some scuffling, and then nothing. And the police actually came fairly quickly. We have the video. We'll play a little bit of it because I'm sure many of you have seen that as well. But the police came within minutes. It was very quickly. And anyway, so she was missing, but her car was there. Car was running. Her wig was there. Phone was there, etc. but no trace of her. And then pop up, and as of last night, she shows up at her home, and that's where we're at. So now the family is just updating, saying that she is home. The emergency police, and EMTs, etc., arrived at the home after she showed up, and the parents called to say she was there, or the family called to say she was there. They took her to the hospital, all that good stuff. And then she's been released, and she's back home. And the family is now asking for privacy. They're saying, let her recover, but also us, because they have been up for the past 3 days, etc. So anyway, we'll get deeper into that. But 91%, oh wow, yeah, 91% of you said that you have been following this story. I figured as much. But yeah, so we know that there are more questions than answers. Now I'll say, out of the 91% of you have been following this story. Out of the 91% of you, are you just as lost with what's happening as I still am? But anyway, so we have the mom. We have the mom's update for those of you who may not have seen it. So the mom ended up putting out. Well, I'll do this. Well, no, we can do this. So the mom, who did a couple press conferences, and she was on her social media, on her Facebook, giving updates, asking for help, et cetera, et cetera. And so she ended up posting this morning: "Great morning. My husband and I wanted to make this statement again, as we did last night. It's nothing more to add or take away from how we're feeling right now. God is faithful, and He has answered our prayers. We are so grateful to each of you for all the acts of kindness, generosity, and compassion you've shown. Our baby is safe. Thank you, Father God. We do want our daughter and each other with our close family and friends. Also, please consider the fact we have not slept for 3 nights, and we're mentally and physically exhausted. To our media friends, I promise we will speak with you and give a general statement in the near future, as this is an ongoing investigation. We consider the media outlets that cared enough to share this story, law enforcement agencies, special investigators, city leaders, to be our friends, and we will be respectful of all. For everyone that has messaged or called to rejoice with us, we are so grateful for your concern." I'm sorry, I got this mute button moving across my screen when I'm reading. It's throwing me off. But anyway, covering some of my words. "But just as we made a commitment to not entertain negative thoughts during the time our daughter was missing, we surely will not entertain negative thoughts, statements, unvalidated opinions, or sheer ignorance at such a joyous time." Amen for that. We pray that those that doubt God's power, miracles, and the power of faith will be encouraged to draw closer to Him and learn the power of positivity, affirmations, and unwavering faith. We love each of you and are eternally indebted for your support and love. Bless the Russells. Be blessed, the Russells. So that was the mom's message to the public. There hasn't been like press conference since she's been found. The mom is letting us know the status of everything, saying that her daughter has returned home. Please give them peace. Allow them to, deal with the situation, and that's understandable. That's understandable. I don't take issue with that a lot. Some people do. I've been seeing little commentary. I ain't been obsessing over this story, but I've watched a few things here or there. But anyway, after she was found, for sure, I was like, oh, okay, well, we good. And then it was like, ooh, wait, there's more to this. So then the boyfriend, so I saw this afternoon that the boyfriend has also posted that his response to the whole thing. So that's a picture of Carlee and her boyfriend. And he said in his statement, I don't even know how to start off this post, but to only say thank you to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for saving my girlfriend's life. Also, thank you to everyone who shared a picture, came out to the Hoover, met to help us with the search party, and who went and proceeded to tell other people about Carlee to bring more awareness to the story. I have been going nonstop since I received the call that she was missing on Thursday night. I know she would have done the same for me. So I wasn't going to give up until I saw her face again. I was straight tunnel vision. Even when I would get on social media and on my downtime and see some of the false allegations and assumptions about me having something to do with her abduction would have me discouraged at times, but I didn't give up and kept my faith, maybe. But anyway, that's the boyfriend, and he posted pictures of him and her. And I think when I did read that, I was like, this is kind of horrible that in these situations, there just begins to be so much speculation. And I notice it a little bit more when it's African-American people involved. It's kind of odd. It's kind of like Shanquilla and stuff, that people will start to take their opinions and turn them into rumors. Like all of a sudden, you know, people are saying it's the boyfriend and he literally has nothing to do with it. Like that, people don't realize how that affects people, especially in this world of social media. So thank God, you know, that this has gotten resolved to this level. So at least his name is clear. But the fact that people would throw his name out there in such a derogatory way in such a sensitive time, and he had nothing to do with it, at least as far as we know, is, you know, all is a ruse, but we don't know that. For the poll question, are you lost with what's happening with this story? Out of the 91% of you who've really been following it, 84% of you are lost. Still lost. Like me. Y'all not alone. 16% of y'all, I guess, got a handle on it. Yeah, I need to put y'all on camera so y'all can walk us through this, because I am still very, very much so like, I'm lost. What's happening here? And there's so many layers. So the only thing that's helped me get some level of clarity with this story, like trying to, as much as that's being released publicly, was the actual public notice from the Hoover Police Department. And so they actually gave a bit of a timeline, which to me was like, okay, this is helping me wrap my mind around this situation, because it is it's a little convoluted. It's a little secrecy, and a little convoluted. All the pieces ain't adding up. Okay, so anyway, their first post was missing person Carlee Russell has been located. At 10:45 p.m., the Hoover 911 center received a call that Carlee returned home to her residence. Police responded to the scene to investigate this latest development in the case. Hoover fire medics responded to the scene to assess Carlee and transported her to a local hospital for evaluation. Now, what that means, I don't know. Like, is that a physical evaluation? Was that a mental evaluation? Because I've seen some people speculating on that piece of it. Was it a mental health crisis, et cetera? I got a poll coming in there. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Because when I was first hearing that she was still missing, and I was like, why do people just be jumping all these rumors? But I don't know. It just seems a little suspicious now that she has returned, and supposedly and I don't want to get into too much of my commentary too early, but if she has returned and has the perpetrator been caught, like, did they return her and they were arrested on site, or are they still out on the loose? And if they're still out on the loose, shouldn't they be warning the public, like doing, I forgot what they call it. They don't call it an Amber Alert for adults, but whatever they call it for the adults, shouldn't they be sending that out, saying, look for this colored vehicle, license plate this, or this suspect, or wanted posters? Shouldn't we now be posting those things? And the fact that it's kind of like, oh, she home, don't worry about it, let us rest. Like, okay, but what about supposedly there's someone out here maybe snatching up people who are being good Samaritans and trying to save babies. Like, we're trying to save the babies, but now we're scared to save the babies because we don't know what's out there. So I don't know. That part is a little like, what's really happening here? So anyway, they said additional information will be provided when it becomes available. So they gave a more detailed timeline of the entire situation. It says the Hoover Police Department is releasing additional information on the safe return of Carlee Russell since the time of the 911 call at 9:34 p.m. on July 13th of 2023. The Hoover Police Department has expended every available resource into locating Carlee, and we celebrate with the Russell family on her safe return at approximately 10:44 p.m. on July 15th. The following information are facts we have been able to determine at this point in the investigation. We are still gathering and evaluating evidence in this case, which means, is there still a predator on the loose? You're still investigating unless there is no predator, unless now you're just trying to get clarity on what was self-contained and happening, if you know what I'm saying. I ain't trying to be pointing no fingers and allegations that of what she may have done to cause this, or if it was just she was the only player in the whole situation. Don't know that, but I'm just, if it was more to it, it's like, share that for public safety. I guess that's where I'm a little lost. Like, they're not sharing anything for public safety or to potentially find the person, unless they already know who the perpetrator is, if there is a perpetrator. That's a possibility. Carlee, so they're saying Carlee left work from a business at the Summit in Birmingham at approximately 8:20 p.m. She ordered food from a nearby business at the Colonnade and traveled there. We have worked to retrace all of her actions from the time she left the Colonnade until she called 911, and we are on our way to completing that task. So they're retracing all of her steps. So they said Carlee left work from a business at the Summit in Birmingham at approximately 8:20 p.m. She ordered food from the, did I just read that? Oh, I just read that. Okay, wait. This is what happened when I stay up late, because I'm a night owl, but I'm not really a night owl. Okay, at this point in the investigation, we have not been able to locate anyone with Carlee from the time she left the Colonnade until the 911 call was made. So they're saying that there was no one with her to their knowledge that they could see. So they then went on to say Carlee communicated on her cell phone with individuals known to her while on her path of travel up to the point of calling 911 at 9:34 p.m. The conversation with the 911 operator ended and Carlee called a relative. She went missing during that conversation sometime around 9:36 p.m. So literally like 2 minutes later. So that was a very short 911 call. And then I did hear someone say that the call that she had with the relative was like 90 seconds. So this is all very quick. After telling both the 911 operator and the relative that she had seen a male toddler in a diaper on the side of I-459 and was stopping to check on him, traffic camera footage was obtained, which depicted this portion of the incident, and that footage is still being analyzed as part of the investigation in conjunction with the 911 call to accurately determine the time frame. Carlee's 911 call remains the only timely report of a child on the interstate. So that was another thing that a lot of people were saying. And, you know, those of us who drive, etc., we know that when there's something happening, and especially some of that nature, usually there begins to be a bit of a commotion and you would see multiple cars pulled over, etc. It was dark. And of course, the footage that we have seen is from, you know, one of those grainy interstate cameras, and it's dark and blurry and everything else. But no one else pulled over. No one else seemed to have seen that. I was personally wondering, when it's that dark, how do you notice a toddler on the side of the road unless the toddler is literally in the middle of the interstate? I mean, I guess it's possible, but I don't know. It seemed very odd. And then you're driving like 60, 50 something to 60 something miles an hour or more. But anyway, so the Hoover police officers arrived on the scene with 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes of being dispatched, and you can see that on the camera, like it happened really quick. And several other officers arrived shortly behind. They located Carlee's wig, cell phone, and purse on the roadway near her vehicle, and Carlee's Apple Watch was in her purse. Investigators with the Crimes Against Persons Unit were notified, and the investigation immediately began in earnest, with numerous leads being followed. Many local, state, and federal agencies immediately offered assistance and provided personnel and other resources to the investigation. No stone was left unturned, and the investigation continued throughout the weekend. And we saw that. It says at 10:44 p.m. on July 15th, the Hoover 911 center received a call from Carlee's residence that she had returned home on foot. Hoover police and fire responded to the residence where Carlee was located. She was immediately transported by the Hoover Fire Department to UAB Hospital to be evaluated and was treated and released. Detectives responded to the residence and to the UAB to take an initial statement from Carlee. The details of that statement are part of the ongoing investigation, which is expected to continue over the next few days. So they're continuing this investigation. It's not open and shut. This is very interesting. Yeah, questions. We still got more questions because this is still ongoing. And during the initial portion of the investigation, detectives were able to retrace nearly all of Carlee's steps until the point that she went missing, and are confident that will be continued. That will be the case and continue to be the case in this situation. So the Hoover Police Department continues to be extremely grateful for the outpouring of support from the Hoover community and beyond, and all of the assistance provided by law enforcement partners, which are too numerous to name. We rejoice with the Russell family as they continue to rest and recover from this situation, and ask for their wishes to be respected regarding privacy. This release contains all the information Hoover Police is able to release at this time. As we continue to investigate, we will release the information that is determined to be factual and pertinent to the public. So we got to wait until they ain't finna give us no rumors, no speculation. They're going to give us the facts, or the facts they want to share. When a press conference is scheduled, we will provide advance notice of the date, time, and location. So I guess, we'll have, later this week, we should have a press conference where maybe we will get some level of clarity. Now, the boyfriend, whether or not he was supposed to share this information, did say that she was fighting for her life. I'm trying to see the part where did it? I was trying to see. I don't know, y'all. It's late. I'm like, I know I saw it somewhere, but I thought it was in this post where he says that she was fighting for her life. I don't even know how to start off this post, but I'll only say thank to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for saving my girlfriend's life. Okay, he saved a life. God saved a life. Also, thank you to everyone who shared pictures, came out. Hoover met the search parties, who met to proceed. Carlee bring more awareness to her story. Been going nonstop. She was missing Thursday night. Who knows? She would have done the same for me. Until face again. Straight tunnel vision. False allegations. And okay, so he did say she was abducted because he's saying false allegations and assumption about me having something to do with her abduction would have me discouraged, because he didn't say with her being missing. He's saying abduction as if he's saying she was abducted. So, abducted. So okay, thank you. I'm handling my chat by myself. So I'm finna get to y'all comments. We might as well, y'all know the backstory. At first I was gonna go through the backstory as well, but y'all know the backstory. We'll do a short little piece of the press conference with the mom where she was describing, just in case someone hasn't seen that. But I'll give y'all that and I'll take a swig of water. If it'll play. Y'all regulars already know this stream, y'all be tripping. Okay, so I'm pull it in again.
Giving.
Okay, it's playing.
Joyful in nature.
She's a fighter too. She's joyful and she's laid back, but if it's a chance for her to put up a fight to try to save her life, she's gonna do everything she can to put up a fight. And I was telling my husband and I were talking today. She was just so happy, or yesterday. She was just so happy all the way up until I talked to her at 9:19. She was just so happy. And anybody that knows our daughter knows she loves food. And the fact that she was willing to give me her meal because they left her meal off meant a lot to me. And when she got home, I was gonna give her a big hug and tell her thank you, because I know you love your food. On point, she got out the car. My daughter-in-law could hear her asking the child if they were okay. The child didn't respond, or at least she didn't hear her respond. He or she respond. And then she heard our daughter Carlee scream. And from there, all we could hear was noise, background noise in her phone, which we later found out was noise from the Interstate. And so they have found her wig and her hat and her cell phone that were in close proximity to her car. So if anyone sees Carlee from the pictures that we have put out, just keep in mind, because her wig came off, her hair would be braided down to her scalp. So she won't have, long hair or anything like that is reflected on the picture. She pretty much has cheekbones like me. Pretty much our face is the same structure. So that's pretty much all the information we have. We do have some indication that there may have been a gray vehicle that a trucker saw that pulled in front of her car at some point as they were passing along the interstate.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
And that's all the information, or at least we have at this time. At some point she got out.
So yeah, and then I have the footage of the of her car. So I did see someone. I was trying to scan through the comments real quick to pull. I'm gonna pull up some of y'all comments, but we do see her. The car with the flashing hazard lights is her. The question is, okay, if she saw the child, did she see the child and then she passed the child, got off the expressway, got back on the other side, and then came around, got back on? And so maybe she's slowly driving to see where the child is again. So I don't know. That part is a little strange. Some people mention the fact that, well, why is she driving so far? So, it has to be that she got off and got back on, because if you saw the child, she would be way past the child at this point. I don't know. It's like you got to pass the child in order to see the child. So, yeah, it's very odd. I don't know. That part is odd. I'm still lost. Again, questions. For this last poll that I did, do you believe the story that the public has been given? 78% of you say no, and 21% of you say yes. Yeah. I believe there's some things they're definitely keeping from the public, and with an ongoing investigation, that's understandable to some degree, but it's just it's the other stuff. Okay, I'm just jump to the live comments, but yeah, there's been speculation. I got a little bit of a enhancement to it. It's very blurry, but you can see a little bit of a close up. Actually, you see that's where you see the police like almost show up immediately. Like it wasn't long. And when I saw this part of the clip where I was like, dang, the police showed up pretty quick, like after she stopped. Pass it again. Here we go. And then the enhanced, I'm struggling to see, but from having people say, well, look at this, you can kind of see that she gets out the car or somebody gets out the car, they walk around to the passenger side. You can kind of see that there. It's grainy as hell, but there's somebody on the passenger. It's kind of like she walked around the car. You would assume it has to be her. They're saying there was no one else in the car with her. They've been able to verify that piece of it, but you just see her standing at the car, but you don't see anyone else there, at least from, again, this grainy video. Don't see the scuffle. Looks like one person standing there. Then it kind of looks like maybe she goes towards the front. No, she's on the side again. Yeah, it's really hard to tell what's happening. But the person is definitely not on the side. And you can see now, like you would think if there was a scuffle or something happening, because when you have situations like this, when people pull over, and I do it too, most of us do it. When people pull over, you're driving on the interstate highway and you see people pull over, you slow down. There's, a gaper's delay. And so you would think if that was happening, you got headlights shining, so you can pretty much see the people probably fairly well because her car was on, lights were on. If someone saw that scuffle, someone would have saw it because they would turn their head. You would think. I don't know. But again, they did say a trucker saw a gray car, was reported to have seen a gray car pull in front of her. Sometimes people, witnesses aren't really witnesses. They it's false memories, as they call it. Here's another poll for y'all. And then we're going to just jump to the comments. I think it's not too many for me to get through. Let me play this. I am going to play this. I'm a little all over the place, but I'm going to play this. For those of you who haven't seen, I don't want to assume that everyone's seen all this stuff, but this is a news conference where the mom talks about the situation as it happened and her perspective.
From her was Carlee asking the child if they were okay. So she evidently got out the car. She asked the child if they were okay, maybe 2 or 3 times. She didn't hear a response from a child on the other end. And she did hear a scream. And then she could tell there was maybe some type of shuffling. And the phone dropped to the ground. And from there, all she could hear was background noise. By that time, she was coming into the room to alert myself and my son what had just transpired. She kept the line open. She didn't hang up. I was yelling Carlee's name. We were all yelling Carlee's name. I picked up my phone to call Carlee's phone, even though I knew that line was open with our son's girlfriend. It was just like, I just felt, I felt I needed to try to do something to try to reach her since she wasn't answering us when we were calling her name, and all we could just hear was like background noise. And from there, I came and got my husband from the bedroom and told him a brief synopsis of what had just transpired. We needed to throw on some clothes and go to her location. We do share our location through Life 360. And so it was pinging that she was at a particular street. However, when we got there, we did not see her car. And what we realized once the police came to where we were is that because her car was on the interstate, it was pinging at the street we went to because that street was right behind and below that Interstate 459.
So that was the other piece the mom said, and I'm seeing some comments here as I'm browsing. The mom was saying, because there was speculation about the family being in a different spot, claiming they have found her or whatever, and why were they there instead of on the highway or whatever. It was because of the fact that the way that the life alert ping looked like she was on that street versus actually on the interstate. So that was how that happened. E is saying, call me crazy, but I think she was abducted by aliens. Okay, crazy. You said call you crazy. Hey, crazy. This last poll I did, speaking of crazy, well, I shouldn't say that. That's mean. Because we don't play with mental health over here. But do you think this was a mental health crisis? 60% of you say yes, and 39% of you say no. I'm very indecisive at this point, because when people put that on this really early, I was kind of like, don't do that. But I don't know. It's like, it's a lot of unanswered questions, and that is very probable based on where we are in this moment. Now, by the time we get a press conference, hopefully later this week, then it might be a whole different story. Did anyone think that child that she saw was put there as a setup for anyone? Yeah, yeah, that's what they're claiming. I mean, I've seen situations similar. I actually have a viral video of a child running up to this man's car, like running down this road to a man's car, and he's just the toddler. He's about 2 or 3 years old, and he's by himself. So it's not impossible. Very odd. I mean, who knows? Parents could have been on drugs and fell asleep in the car, or rolled down the ditch, and the baby climbed up by itself. Things like that have happened. Felicia B is saying, basically, she's home, been through a lot. They want to love on her and respect their privacy. She'll say more later. Yeah, I mean, she may or may not, but somebody will. The family may. Margin is saying, I thought that was a setup at the beginning also. Yeah. So again, I mean, there are setups. You got these right now. What's running rampant is, carjacking situations where people will ram into you, cause a fender bender of sorts to get you to get out of your car. You thinking it's an accident, but they're setting you up to, carjack you or rob you, etc. So these things are not like, it's not like they don't happen. They truly do happen, where people set you up. And even the Good Samaritan setups. Like, first time I was ever robbed, well, thank God, the only time I was ever robbed was from me trying to be a good Samaritan, trying to help a person out, jump their car, and the guy robbed me. And so ever since then, I'm like, I'm not helpful to strangers. And it's a shame, but it makes you very guarded when you've been victimized in that way, especially when you're trying to do something for other people. Felicia B is saying, why did no one else come out stating that they saw the baby too, whether they chose to stop or not? Yeah, which is what I was saying about that. That part is, is questionable. But I couldn't figure out why she didn't have on her watch on. I mean, they are saying, I did see someone say that she had it on because she had just took a picture at the restaurant she was at minutes before all of this occurred. And they're saying she did have the watch on at that point. Don't know. Maybe the watch was hurting. Maybe battery ran dead and she was like, I'm taking it off my wrist. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, it's rare, but I have taken my watch off while out, especially if it's bothering me. Rare, but I have. Renee Thomas is saying, I'm in Hoover visiting a friend who lived off that exit right now. It's just weird. Yeah. Also, the police did not release the 911 call. Yes. So to me, that says that there's definitely more to it. And again, they're saying that this is an open investigation. So the fact that they're not releasing that says that there may be a little bit more happening on that 911 call than what we've heard so far. And Felicia is saying they are now saying it was a baby boy wearing only a pamper. Yes, well, but however, yes, I'm with you 100%. Because at first it was like, we don't know if it was a boy or a girl. She just said it was a toddler, da 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 da. And now we're getting details. However, now she's been found to give the details or her perspective of what occurred. So that could also be the reason why we now know that it's a baby boy who was wearing a pamper. Just my assumption, but I'm with you. Someone dropped her off strange. Alicia, they didn't say someone dropped her off, though. They just said she arrived on foot. Did she walk? We don't know those sort of details yet. So we don't want to make assumptions unless you read somewhere that someone dropped her off. We can't make that assumption. She could have walked. I don't know how far her home is. Well, it's not that far because her mom said she had just picked up food and she was on her way home. Didn't sound like it was a very long trip to get home. So we don't know. Maybe somebody did. Maybe she escaped from somewhere and ran like crazy and got home. Maybe it's someone she knew and who, abducted her and she wasn't that far from home. Hopefully we'll find these things out. Wendy Williams is saying, how was she the only one to see the toddler? Yeah, a lot of us is wondering that same thing. This story is weird AF. Was this alleged child that word is considered derogatory, the M word. But dwarf I think you can still say dwarf or little people. Just so you know, politically incorrect now. I know we grew up saying it, but it's politically incorrect now. So I'll reread it. This story is weird AF. Was this alleged child a little person? Because I can't see anyone risking the life of a child on the expressway. Crazy people do crazy things, Gwen. I mean, I'm with you, Gwen, but we gotta also look at this because we're reasoning this as civilized people. We're the kind of people that wouldn't abduct people, rob people, all that. We don't do those things. We wouldn't even consider doing those things, even on our worst day. However, there are people who do those things and they do them as a career and that's how they live. So they would potentially use a child for bait. We got people who give children drugs, like literally meth, marijuana, all that, babies because they think it's cute and all that. Oh, look at him get drunk. All of that. We've heard those stories. So yes, in our world, that would be, crazy. Couldn't even conceive of that. Child doesn't deserve that. All that. That's our side. But on the other side, that's very possible still. As crazy as it may sound, it's possible. Felicia B, anything that could have tracked her was left at the car. That's a good point, Felicia B. I thought about it in the sense of if this was done on purpose, if this was a way to get 15 seconds of fame. I don't know that, a person with purpose would be like, well, let me leave all this here so they can't track me because I know what I can be tracked with. Or if there's an abductor and they also know those things and they, searching a person, then they would also potentially leave that stuff behind. It happened really quickly though, because within a couple minutes or less. So, but I'm with you. Ladies, always stay safe. Please make sure to have your gas on full. Yes, great advice. It wouldn't have helped her because she pulled over. So, but yes, you're right as well. So you don't get stranded somewhere and get taken advantage of. Mariana saying, decompose, there was no baby in the area. There is so much traffic 24/7 that someone would have stopped besides her. She could have not seen the baby from where she turned on her flashers. I live there. Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the speculation that there definitely should have been other people that noticed it, you know, pulled over. It was very high traffic. We saw that. We could see that on that blurry camera, surveillance camera. We could definitely see that there was a ton of traffic. And we saw the car slowing down too. We could see that. So, but no one. And also there was no baby reported missing either. That I forgot to add. Well, that was in my original notes from the original story I was going to do before all this happened overnight. Case was solved somewhat. But yeah, that part that no one since this situation has reported a toddler missing or anything. She just magically showed up at home. So she had no wig, no phone, but she had house keys. I'm so confused. Well, that doesn't mean she had keys, Marlene. That doesn't mean she had keys, because she came, her family was at home, so she could get in the house, and they didn't say she came and opened the door. She just came home, and her family was at home waiting, you know, hoping, praying, wishing, and all that good stuff, waiting on her. So there were people at home to let her in. So we don't want to take the story further than the information we have. They didn't say she let herself in with keys. Alicia's saying almost sounds, I guess, like the kidnapped bride story. Very strange. I haven't heard that story. I'm not familiar with, or yeah, I would need more details. I don't know what the kidnapped bride story is. You're saying you wonder how old the young lady is. Carlee is 25 years old. She is 25 years old. Sharon is saying she's not lost at all. I would like to understand what is the speculation. I would love to, since you understand it, we kind of need you to lead this. Help us. The speculation in part is like, is how much of that is real? Was there an abduction? Was there another individual involved at all? Was this her? And I'm saying what the speculation is, because that's your question. So I ain't accusing her of any of this, but this is what the speculation is. Was this all just a setup? Was this a Jussie Smollett situation? I've started seeing that going viral, that they're comparing her to Jussie Smollett. Was this a mental health crisis? Did this happen in her mind? Some of us have experienced relatives who have had mental health breakdowns, and they end up in an alternate world, and we're right there with them, and we're like, no, that's not where you should be. Come back to us. But they gone. Was it that? Did she have a mental health breakdown, on the phone with a relative, thought she saw a child, pulled over? Does she already have, is she schizophrenic? And that's something they haven't shared with the public. So those are some of, it's more. Those are the ones I'm talking about here. So that's where the speculation comes in. That's the speculation. And also because of the fact that they're not sharing the details. Again, was there even a suspect? Because they're not saying she's back home safely, thank God. We're now looking for a male subject, this height, this race, driving this vehicle. They're not saying any of that. So does that person not exist? Or do they know who the person was? Was it the ex-boyfriend? We don't know how long the boyfriend who I just showed y'all, we don't know how long they've been together. Those are the speculations. Yes, Joy West. Exactly. Very interesting. Very interesting. So, Deborah, what happened to the baby? Is saying Deborah. Hey, Deborah. Deborah is saying, what happened to the baby? You just got here. There is no baby, from what we could tell so far. Again, speculation. Is there a baby? Was there a baby? Did the people take their baby back? Was there never a baby? Was the baby in her head? We don't know. But there is no baby who has been recovered, found, called missing, anything like that, Deborah. Margin, I don't understand why the police have not said enough. I don't know if you're saying that prior to me reading the police statement, because it was pretty detailed, but that's would be, as they've said a lot. That was quite a bit for the police to share during an open investigation. And that would be, police are not going to give detailed information in the behind the scenes during an open investigation, and really even after most times. So they've actually given quite a bit, if you ask me, in my opinion, based on the work that I do when as I follow like tens of stories weekly almost now. Jules is saying, I don't know what to believe or think, trying to wait for more info before I form an opinion. It's odd the police release description and info of you literally just said the same thing I just said. So yes, I'm with you, Jewel, that I'm still waiting for more info before I form my opinion. So on my end, I'm giving y'all all the random thoughts, all that I'm hearing, all that stuff. But as far as me personally, I'm reserving my opinion or judgment. The jury's still out on my end. I'm just sharing with y'all what's out there. Alicia's saying, what abductor drops you off at home? We don't know that occurred. Again, that's where we got to be careful, because we don't know. No one ever said the abductor dropped her off at home. What they did say, though, was that she arrived at home on foot. That's what they said. The other piece is it has happened before. Like, let's say if the abductor dropped off at the end of the block, at the beginning of the subdivision, 3 blocks away or 2 cities away, that has happened before. And when this was, still happening, she was still missing. I was saying, I think I posted it on Facebook or something. I know I posted about it, but I think I may have said in my comment that I was hoping that this story would get so much attention that the abductor would be afraid to continue to keep her and would let her go because of all the attention. Like, oh crap, we can't go nowhere. Everybody looking for her now, like millions of people. So that has happened before. Not often, but it has happened before. Give us a and the fact, think about this. If there is an abductor, the fact that all this went viral, and next thing you know, there's the camera footage from the interstate. If they're like, oh, I drove my gray car, because somebody said, the trucker said they saw a gray car pull up in front of her. If the abductor in the gray car is like, oh, they said they saw my car, and now I'm seeing that they got video camera footage. They probably zooming in on my license plate. They probably gonna get me. They could say, I'm gonna drop her off. I'm gonna let her go. And then even if, that stuff is caught, because in a way they'll be like, okay, it's better to get a attempted kidnapping or whatever versus whatever else they was gonna do. Again, if we don't know what's happening here, but if any of that is true. So, I mean, I've heard, and that's the reason I'm going on and on about this, because I have read and heard and seen stories of the abductors dropping the person off. Give us a statement. Now had everyone worry. Yeah. If for ransom, they didn't try to get it even with the reward money offered. Yeah, I did hear some speculation that, oh, maybe the family's not speaking because there was a ransom and they paid it or whatever, or some blackmail or something like that. Who knows? I mean, that's a possibility. I think it's lesser of a possibility, but it is. However, even if it was for ransom, it would be a random person. I have heard of this happening, but it just seems very odd that you would ask for ransom. You would set up a trap such as this to get a random person to pull up on the interstate. There's a lot of broke people driving up and down the interstate. So what's the chance that you're going to even find somebody? I mean, you're literally playing, you're gambling. You're playing the roulette table on hopefully the person I bait has a family or they have enough money to even make this worthwhile, because they might not. So I don't know about it's a bit of a reach. I mean, if they're not a smart criminal, I mean, I could see if they were in a wealthy area and not on the interstate, but literally like in a wealthy community doing these sort of things, I could see that better or something, but I don't know. Carnivore saying, y'all, she could have had a mental breakdown, We all should wait for the story to unfold instead of judging. I'm glad she's okay. Yes, I'm with you as well, Kurt. We don't know, and it could have been that. And yeah, I'm waiting as well. And make sure to hit that like button because I'm seeing a lot of new names, a lot of new people in our Veeple community, and welcome. And definitely remember to hit that like button and follow me on all my social medias. It's pinned to the top comments above. And moderators, y'all know to remind them. Miss TN is saying privacy. With all those people who came out to help you search, we don't need a black Sherry Papina. No, I can see that, Miss TN. You got to give people time. It's almost like, there's a grieving process to all of this. Yes, thank God that she's back, etc. But the emotional roller coaster that a family would go through when you don't know. I mean, you can be prayerful and all of that, and still have those moments where you're sleeping and you have a nightmare that they actually are gone. So they're going through a process, and now that they have her back don't mean that they just snap back into, ooh, they feel great. And so to ask them to spill their guts to us and share everything at this moment, I think is a bit much to ask in this moment. I say give them time, and also give the police time. Don't rush to give me information, because I don't want you just talking off the top of your head. I don't want you not giving me the full story, and then later here go another bit of it. No, take your time, rest up, heal, and then give me the full story. Give me the whole breakdown, including the police reports, like everything. Hey, Tales World. If the FBI are involved, they will get down to the bottom of it. I don't think the FBI is, well, who knows? I was going to say I don't think the FBI is involved in it. The reason I was going to say that is because we haven't heard anything from the FBI, only the Hoover police. However, if this was an abduction, the FBI will only get involved if that person was crossing state lines. So if this is, and who knows, we don't know. Maybe they took her across state lines and then brought her back home and dropped her off, But so far, at least, it doesn't seem like well, maybe they were involved during the search process just in case state lines were crossed, but who knows? I don't believe the boyfriend was involved. Yeah, I totally don't believe that he was involved. I think that would have come out by now, where you would kind of think. Yeah, I don't think he was involved. No one is saying she couldn't have experienced a mental episode, but the family is still stating she fought for her life and basically was saved. Yeah. And then the boyfriend said that as well. So I'm still saying, maybe this was early. Let me the where's the baby comment. So let me come down. What time is it? So I can see. And then I'm not gonna hold y'all much longer. Going to more of the recent comments. That was like 40 minutes ago. Some of these comments I'm reading. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go the opposite way. I'm gonna go 10 minutes back. Says definitely, Sharita Wood said definitely giving Jesse Smollett. I'm reserving though. I'm possibly, but I'm as of yet we just don't have enough information. But the story ain't coming together like his story wasn't coming together. So I'm with you with that part of it. But it is also we don't have the entire story. Like everything hasn't been shared with us yet. Reese Bloom is saying worst part is the amount of people painting a picture that she's lying and that they can't even wait for more info to come out. It's shameful. I would agree with you, Reese Bloom, in that sense. And that's why I'm reserving judgment in that way. I'm just sharing. I'm just information gathering at this point and sharing. But I personally have reserved my judgment and opinion of what this is because of the fact we don't know everything. She hasn't come out. Her family hasn't shared the details yet. The police is giving just an overview, a timeline. No one is really saying giving the full story yet. So I think it is, we have to be careful. But this is how social media work. Like, I've become fairly desensitized to social media because this is what I do for a living now. That unfortunately, social media is a gritty place and a very cynical place. And you see way more of this than the opposite. People always go for the negative. Some people like the drama of the negative, and so that's what they go for. So this is the norm, unfortunately. The unfortunate part is that when there's someone involved in this who is not a public figure, not on social media, etc., not a part of social media, for them to be, it's like re-victimizing the victim. And that's the piece that's like, we got to be careful. Like, we got to learn how to be kind to each other and all of that. Like, everybody sending prayers for and sharing posts and, hashtagging this and hashtagging that, but then she get found and everybody, she's a liar, she crazy, what, she's a scammer. Like, what? Slow down, hold on, y'all ain't got the full story. I'm with you, Reese. I'm with you. If it was a toddler, she wouldn't have asked questions to it. A rational person would not talk to a toddler like that. She saw something in her head, then walked over, then for her to walk home a day later. It was 2 days later, Duan. But I wouldn't agree that a person wouldn't ask a question to a toddler, because I have an early childhood ed background, 20 plus, almost 30 years, and degreed, and a lot of experience with toddlers. And they can't understand they whether or not they can fully form words. And who knows, toddler can be up to 3 years old. So 3-year-old toddler can actually say words. So I don't fully agree with this statement. I get what you're saying. She didn't know if this toddler exists. She also wouldn't know the toddler. She wouldn't know the ability of the toddler and how developed they were, what their language skills were. So it would make sense. What do you do? Just go grab it? You wouldn't go grab a toddler because you could scare them. So I hear you, but there's a different perspective as well I would like you to consider with that comment. Have you heard about the Red Roof Inn? I have. I'm a little, again, questions. Maybe y'all can help me in the chat. But I have questions because I'm laughing because I just saw some, Cosmo is saying toddler wearing a diaper and cowboy boots. Where the hell did cowboy boots come from? Because I haven't heard. That just threw me off. What? Let me finish this. I'm gonna jump down to that. Felicia B, have you heard about the Red Roof Inn? I'm confused because I've heard people saying that she was at the Red Roof Inn, called her family, and then showed up at the house. But then I heard that wasn't really the story. The story was that the family, while looking for her, saw her phone pinging like she was at the Red Roof Inn. But as the mom said in that news clip, she was actually on the interstate, which was above it, like the next street above or something. So I'm lost. Again, this is where the questions are, because I'm hearing two versions of what the Red Roof Inn meant. Hopefully we'll get some answers. And what's up with these cowboy boots? Somebody explain the baby. What? A toddler with it's funny because it's funny as well. So maybe it was a little person. It wasn't a baby. I haven't seen a baby wearing cowboy boots since I was a toddler. Oh God. Okay. C Travel says, that's why I think it's a hoax. There is no description of the kidnapper and no. Well, they're saying that there's a. I'm sorry, y'all. This has got me tickled. A baby with a diaper and cowboy boots on. Oh God. You gotta love social media because people just. I swear I've seen a lot of coverage of this and I've yet to hear that one. Oh, people are bored and just adding stuff to the story. Jesus. I heard her and the boyfriend were in New York last week. Yeah, maybe that's the photo that we see here, because that definitely looks like Times Square. So, and then there was a couple picture that ain't it. They with a monkey right there, but there was a couple picture, a picture of them as a couple rather, where it looked like they were in NYC. Linda D is saying, does the video show her walking away? It cuts off. So that's a great question. It cuts off and it's so blurry, and where you can kind of see a figure of a human person walking around the car. After it gets out of the sight of, you know, the glow of the car, you can't really tell because everything is dark. So I don't know if the police have more or have been able to dig deeper with that. But as far as we can see from what's been released, I haven't seen that yet. Thank you so. I got a lot of comments, so it's taking me a while to find stuff. But thank you so much, Nurse Kwan. I really greatly appreciate you for the super chat. I am relieved she was returned safe. If there is a perpetrator on the loose, or if they have been caught, they should let the public know. This could save a life. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that, Nurse Kwan. What I think that alludes to, and again, it's total speculation on my part, but is that it alludes to either they know who that person is and they don't feel that they're a danger to society as a whole, or there is no person. That's my assumption when it comes to that. And I guess we'll know when we hear a press conference. Renee S is saying, this is why I share my location with my family and they share with me just in case. Very true. And thank you for that reminder to everyone else. Although this family said that they have, I think it was Life Alert, your iPhone can do that as well, sharing your location. And so I definitely advise all of you, male and female, to do that as well, because we living in strange times, y'all. I mean, there's always been crime and criminals and perpetrators and all that, but it's on a different level now. It's just a lot. It's almost, yeah, and it's everywhere. Don't matter where you live. Tiana Davis, we have been cautioned not to stop and call police. And Tiana, it's funny you say that, because that was one of my thoughts when I saw this story and started digging deeper. I was like, man, why did she get out the car? But then my second thought was, well, it was a toddler. Well, you know, it may have been, it's allegedly, it was a toddler. And so if I saw a toddler, I would be very conflicted on an interstate. I would be very conflicted to stay in my car and have a toddler running around in front of me because their car is speeding on the side of me. And the baby could run out into traffic. So I'm with you. And I had the same thought, because that's how I feel about everything else that would happen. If there's, somebody need help on the side of the road or whatever, and they saying, please help me. I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna call for you. I ain't getting out, but I'll call for you. Call 911 for you. So I'm with you, but this was a toddler. So again, if this was a whole setup, it was actually a good one, because whereas if there was another adult on the side of the road, male or female, that's how I feel about it. Male or female, I ain't getting out. Sorry. I'll help you. I'll call to get you some help, but I ain't getting out. For one, I ain't changing your tire, I ain't jumping your car, I ain't doing none of that. That's why I got AAA, so I ain't finna do that for you. I'll call my AAA for you, but I'm not finna do all that. So no, I'm with you. Queen Peaceful saying, I'm born and raised in Birmingham, and nobody in their right mind would set up a kidnapping. Hoover is a modern Mayberry. So, I mean, you know this area, so maybe that's 100% true. So maybe, again, well, the speculation is possibly somebody she knew who set her up. It would be very odd. It would be very coincidental that they do all this, put a child on the road, on the side of the road, she happens to stop. You know, it's a lot to that to be like, dang, that's an elaborate setup, and a lot of luck has to be involved for that to happen, because who's to say that she would actually pull over? But Marianne is saying there have been people doing this with babies to get women to pull over so they can kidnap them. Okay, so there has been, I feel like I've heard of that as well. I can't think of a specific story, but it didn't seem totally strange to me. There's a lot that happens. I've been trying to get better at covering these stories on our Reality Chronicles channel. I'm gonna get there, but McLean is saying all hoax. Let us know, McLean, like what makes you say that? Where from what you've seen, what are those pieces that make you say that it's all a hoax? We did that poll on, do you think she was lying? I forgot what our numbers were with that, but we did that poll. Let's see, I'm gonna jump around a little bit. Hey, Lesby. Had to drop down out of the bushes with your reaction to that alien comment. Crazy. Well, yeah. Y'all catch me too late. My words just come out. I'm not as filtered. Okay, I'm only do like 15 more minutes. I'm enjoying this with y'all because there's a lot to this, but I ain't that much of a night owl. Have you seen a lady use a child for getting money on the side of the road? Very true, Margin. We've seen ladies, but now you see a whole family. You see the supposed father or husband, wife, and the kids. I've been seeing that a lot more lately. Or just a father or man with kids, you know, using those kids to take advantage of people. I mean, usually it's panhandling, but y'all know what I'm saying. I've heard of people using kids as a ploy to victimize people. And now you got the gang members and, you know, people in the street who are using the younger kids. So y'all be careful with y'all little boys who are, you know, adolescents and stuff, because a lot of these older guys, gang members and stuff, are using them to do the crime, steal the cars, carjacking, all this stuff, because of the fact that they're adolescents and they won't get as much time. So they'll have them rob somebody, carjack, do all kind of stuff, and then pass it on to the older gang members so that they aren't the ones that are, you know, getting arrested and all that, because they technically didn't commit the crime. They're working on being able to come after them too. But so, yeah, so children are used in crimes for sure. Latrace is saying, these theories, y'all about to make me just get out of here. Latrace is saying, I don't think it was a child. I think it was an American Girl doll that mimicked a child. Aren't those American Girl dolls? They're not the size of a toddler. They're the size of an infant, right? Unless they've gotten bigger. I haven't seen them in years since I had young girls around, like little girls who were into those around me. It's been a minute since I've paid attention to American Girls, is what I'm saying. So I thought they were doll size, not the creepy grandma doll size. You know, like my grandmother, she had those creepy size dolls that were about the height of a toddler or a little person, and they had the glass eyes and the little stringy hair, little synthetic wig hair. So I could see if it was one of those with a diaper and cowboy boots. That's y'all saying. That's what y'all saying. But I don't know about American Doll Girl. And then you could, especially by the time you pull up with your car with the headlights, you could see, even in the dark, you can tell a doll from a toddler, I would assume. Why didn't anyone? Yeah, we talked about that. Okay, I'm gonna jump around a little bit. Let me see. I don't want to. We got y'all disagreeing in the chat. We got somebody saying, Sea Travels is saying, modern Mayberry, Birmingham is one of the most dangerous cities to live in America. You must have moved away a long time ago. Nothing may bury there. I don't know. I think I think it also depends on the area, because I travel a lot and there's nowhere I've been that didn't have a bad area, basically. Like, even if I wasn't there, and when I travel purposely, I'd never be in those kind of areas, but there's generally bad areas everywhere you go, in every city, every major city, even the countries. Faith in Nova says, if there's no press conference by tomorrow, then there was kidnapper, because law enforcement never waits a whole week to speak on a situation like this if there was someone dangerous out there. Yeah, I think we can assume that the person isn't on the loose if they exist, because I believe that they would have said something literally already. With what we just read, the timeline, they would have said, or even before that, they would have been, first of all, like, alert, we're searching for Alicia is saying, where the Amber Alert then. I think Amber Alert, I think, is only for children. If I'm not, y'all correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but I think Amber Alerts are only for children, and they call it something else for adults. And they put that out for her, but they wouldn't put it out for the criminal if they were only looking for the criminal now. Thank you, Donna. Donna's saying that's true. Amber Alerts are only for children. I don't know if LMG, hey, new friend, but hey, LMG is saying there's also the one putting $100 bill on the windshield. So is that another scheme to, how that one work? Is that another scheme to, like, victimize people? How'd that work? Like, you find $100 bill, and while you grabbing it, they grab you? Is that what happens? Maybe that's it. Okay, because it keeps you out of your car longer. Let us know in the chat, because we need to know about these things. I hadn't heard about that one. McLean is saying, if you believe this story, you're being tricked. Okay, well, need more details than that, but thank you. Thank you. We'll see, though. We'll see with this press conference. See, not Hoover. It is a well-to-do area. Okay. Y'all hash that out in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of comments about the area. Margin is saying, if she was kidnapped, why did she walk home and not call 911 as soon as she was released, and she could have walked up to anyone? I think we got to give grace in this situation, like, because the assumption is that things just happen evenly across the board, like in a traditional way. For one, you can't call 911 if you don't have access to a phone. We do know her phone got left in her car. We do know that there aren't payphones around anymore like they used to be. We do also know that people walking up to you asking for help ain't gonna necessarily get them help all the time. We got a story. We got Rasheem Carter, the story of the young man whose life was taken in Taylorsville, Mississippi. He was asking for help for hours. No, for 24 hours, more than 24 hours. He was asking for help. Nobody was helping him. So, like, give some grace in the sense of, just because a person is, and then she's probably looking disheveled. Her wig is now gone. Her hair is just braided back. Don't know what that looked like. You know, maybe she don't have no purse. She ain't got no belongings on her. You don't know if she's been in a tussle. You don't know if her clothes are ripped. So now, chances are the average person being like, oh, let me help you. Let me help. This is the way it should be. But nowadays, people are so afraid that, okay, is she, a drug addict? Is she trying to set me up? So she may not have been able to, if she even saw people. Maybe she got dropped in some dark, rural area where, and maybe she lives in an area similar to that, suburban area, where she wasn't seeing people. And wasn't it 10 something at night, they said? So it's dark outside. Gotta give grace. We gotta give grace. I think, well, people are joining at different times, so you're hearing pieces of the story, but we covered this part. Alicia, and for those of you who may have joined a little later, where's the Amber Alert on the missing child? There is no missing child. There was no child that was reported missing. The police have verified. No one has ever reported since this situation, before or since, that there is a toddler missing. So that would be why there was no Amber Alert. But thank you for clarifying that also, because maybe that's why somebody else mentioned the Amber Alert earlier, and I thought they were referring to her. So keep forgetting that people join at different times. So we've been on here for 1 hour and 25 minutes, but y'all might have only been on here for 25 minutes. I feel like you trolling Eden Dulcie. When she Jesus, y'all got me cracking up over here. When she comes out and says E.T. abducted her, y'all are going to owe me a damn apology. All right, and Jesus, if it happens though, if it happens, I will apologize. I will publicly, since I've shamed you publicly, I will publicly come back on here and do a video apologizing to you. I'll put your name in the title so you know the apology is just for you. Oh, y'all crazy. Yeah, G Watson, it's all strange to me as well. David is saying she got pregnant by a 17-year-old. The dad even knows she was never missing. What? Oh, come on now. Is this another piece of where's David? Please cite your source. I need from here on out every comment. If y'all giving some other variation of the story other than what I've showed so far, because what I got was from credible sources and news sources. If y'all got anything else y'all adding, please cite your sources. So, and I'm not saying y'all, making this up. I just want to know where I can find to dig deeper, because it's hard from one sentence to understand, get context and all of that, or know if it's fact or rumor or speculation. Because this is a new one. Y'all had me with the baby with the cowboy boots, the Pampers and the cowboy boots, and that is this. She got pregnant by a 17-year-old. The dad even knows she was never missing. But why would he get on so many press conferences with the mama? There's a lot. Y'all doing a lot. Watching on YouTube. Thank you, Ro Johnson. McLean, explain where the baby, you can't, why? Because it's a complete hoax. I mean, it could be. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm just, again, I haven't come to judgment yet. Queen Peaceful, and must have some experience. I forget, you commented before. Maybe you said you lived there. I think you did. But Hoover Police Patrol is like working ants. They see everything. Cap. Oh, that means you saying they don't? Was that sarcasm? I don't know. I thought I heard she was dropped off on the news. You may have, and it also, though, we have to also keep in mind when we hear these news stories, and because I do all this research constantly on tons of stories, I always pay attention because news outlets get information wrong as well. So I always try to verify with multiple news sources. So they could have said she got dropped off. However, what we saw, even with the police statement, would be the most accurate in this sort of situation. They said that she walked home, that she was on foot, rather. They said she was on foot. So, but we'll see. When the press conference happens, we'll get more clarity on that. Thank you, Decompos, for reminding all of our people that we got 300. Well, now we got 466 in the building on this video. Please remember to hit that like button so we can get those likes matching. Lies, Hoover has beautiful homes. Her parents live in an affluent area. And actually her mom, because I was on her mom's page on her mom's Facebook pulling some stuff. And her mom seems to be a real estate investor where she flips houses. So I haven't seen their home, but there's a good chance if she's a real estate investor that she may have some cash to work with. And they might have a nice house. They might be in an affluent area. Message to her family: you can't ask the public to help, ask the national media to cover it, and then claim respect our privacy. Once she is found, the public deserves explanation of what happened. Voices in Espanol. I hear you, and I agree with you to a degree. However, it doesn't mean that they should have to rush out to give the information immediately. They are still, I'm sure, as the police is, collecting information, talking with Carlee when maybe she can or feels like talking about the situation. And also they are healing. We have to give people grace for healing. This is not a TV show. These are people, these are real everyday folk. They not Beyonce and Jay-Z who used to public attention and the media wanting interviews and all that. This is you. This is me. We ain't used to all of that. And so you got to give people time, give them grace, let them heal. And if they're saying that there will be a press conference at some point in the next couple of days, I think that's reasonable. I personally, let's see, let's do a poll. And I'm just going to word it shortly. Just do you, my mic in the way, so it takes me a little, I can't see everything. Do you think it's okay for them to ask for time? So do you think that it's okay for them to ask for a little bit of time? Like give them a little, catch their breath. It's been a lot. Do you think it's reasonable for them to ask for a little time before they come out and start vomiting out everything they do know about the situation? Whether it be, as McLean is saying, a hoax. If they're going to come out and say, we got y'all, early April Fools. Like, if it's going to be that, or if it's going to be, hey, come to find out, it was the ex-boyfriend, it was her girlfriend, it was her 17-year-old baby daddy. She pregnant. She didn't know how to tell us, so she created this so that we would be so distraught over the thought of possibly losing her. I thought we had lost her, that this wouldn't be no big deal. And now she's pregnant by a 17-year-old. So she did this to trick us, to make us not feel as be as mad as we would have been had it only been about a 17-year-old, her getting pregnant by a 17-year-old and cheating on a boy. Like, if that's it, if that's the story, it's very convoluted. If that's the story, Jesus, y'all, very convoluted. But should we give them a little grace? 19% of you say no. I love y'all. Like, F your feelings. Give me the information. 19% of y'all say no. Y'all like, y'all had me and my feelings, and I ain't getting no time to heal. Y'all don't get no time to heal. Y'all like, tell me what I need to know for my own public consumption. I ain't gonna do nothing with the information, but just for me. 19% of y'all say it's about me, it ain't about y'all. And 80% of y'all say, we understand, you're human. This was a lot. Whether she made it up or not, it ain't saying that the family was in on it, you know. But y'all are saying, let's give them time, and then we can get in their business. I mean, we in their business now, but y'all know what I'm saying. We can get in put mics in their face and get in their business. Uh, 4:30 in the bloody morning in lovely old London. Oh, wow. You're up that late in London. And I appreciate you. If that's what you're saying, that you're viewing from London at 4:30 in the morning. I greatly appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of people are saying for the police not to address the public community is weird, like they are searching for kidnappers or what. Yeah, I mean, they're saying they're still investigating. It could be that they have this, pretty much they know what happened and they're just trying to solidify the details. Maybe some charges are coming out. You know, who knows? Yes, Harley. Harley, it's fishy. See, Travels is still on it. Like, it's the hood. It's horrible. See, Travels is saying, yes, it's beautiful homes and thousands of hood apartments. Norwood has beautiful homes also. The condition of the home doesn't mean anything. Hoover is horrible. And they're laughing at it. Queen Pifa was saying she knew that area, shortcut, and it definitely a GoFundMe play. So okay, now this is the first time I've heard this theory or speculation is that it was a play for a GoFundMe. Was there ever a GoFundMe set up? Because I did not see that at all. I have not seen a GoFundMe. Don't mean it ain't one out there, but I haven't seen or heard of a GoFundMe, which would also say that the family may, you know, have some money. Now, I know that there was the reward was originally what, $20,000 for information leading to the finding of her. Then it was raised to an anonymous donator gave an additional $5,000, if I'm not mistaken, bringing it up to $25,000. I don't know if it went up from there, but I did hear about that. And Judy Jackson is saying, I would like to know the truth. Was she looking for attention or sympathy? We may never know the truth. I believe in this sort of situation, we'll have more information, and we'll have at least an overall idea of what some level of the truth. I do believe in this situation, because it's such a big national story, I don't believe this just goes away like that. I was trying to catch up to the more. Jesus, we got a lot of comments. I said I wasn't gonna hold much longer, but we got way more comments, and they're good. I ain't gonna be able to get to all of them. So I appreciate everyone who is commenting, and y'all chat amongst yourselves as the chat normally does, but I'll bring up a few more and then I'm gonna let y'all go. Renee Benson is saying, in my opinion, none of this is true. No baby on the interstate. Gray car didn't pull over in front of her. She planned it with whoever picked her up from the street below where her parents went. Oh, now that's a theory that you're saying. So that would mean then the parents are in on it. I don't know. I hear what you're saying, but I'm not willing to go down that track. Okay, here we go. Latrace is saying no Amber Alert because the people who did it used someone they knew or their own child. And she may not have been able to give a description if she was unconscious or drugged. That's true too, because she was missing for what? Was it 3 days, 2 days, or 3 days? It's a good point, Latrace. I mean, where could she have been for 2 or 3 days? Like, we're forgetting about that part of it. We haven't talked a lot about that. And then for it to be a hoax, but then what do you go for that many days without her phone, without any of her possessions? If her purse was left behind, that most likely means her, you know, credit card or any cash she may have had would have also been left behind. T Smith says all Red Roof Inns should have been closed and shuttered. You couldn't pay me to stay there. Well, you know, different strokes for different folks. You couldn't pay me to stay there either. But for those who do stay there, some people love the Red Roof Inn, and it's affordable and all that good stuff. So works for some. Renee Reese Bloom says people make so many assumptions, but are not smart enough to consider that every kidnapping scenario is not the same. You are correct that every kidnapping situation is not the same, for sure. For sure. They don't always look the same. And then, you know, criminals and stuff are always coming up with new ways to victimize people. Because if they kept everything the same, we would be hip to it, and then we would not be victimized anymore. C. Travis is saying, I'm glad she is home, but the danger others are in is my concern. I truly believe, C. Travels, that this may be isolated and be self-contained. I truly do not believe that there's some predator on the loose luring people with infants or toddlers, rather, in cowboy boots and Pampers on the side of the road. I don't believe that. And the reason I don't is because the police hasn't put out a warning. And I truly believe that the police would have done that, because they don't want more of these situations, and they would want the public to be on high alert for this sort of situation. So that in and of itself tells me either it didn't happen at all, or they know who did it, and that person has been captured, or they're on to them or whatever. Reese is saying her mother literally stated that she is not sharing information because she following the wishes of investigators and law enforcement in this statement. Okay, did I read that? Hoover is very y'all still talking about well, I don't know nothing about Hoover. First time I've even heard of Hoover is this story, but I trust what you are saying, Queen Peaceful. Renee S saying the quote, she was literally fighting for her life for 48 hours. So until she's physically and mentally stable again, she is not able to give any updates or whereabouts on her kidnapper at this very moment. Where did you quote? Because you're quoting this. Where was this quoted from, Renee? And hopefully I'll notice it over here in the live chat. Thank you, Deshaun, for reminding everyone watching to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new, because we had a lot of new names popping up. I'm noticing that. So welcome to our Veeple community. You will enjoy it here. So definitely. And we got some great stories coming this week. Scammers and everything. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. It's going to be good. Y'all going to love it because I've been working over the past couple days on this stuff for y'all. The winning walk with Christina is saying, I don't think anyone is judging. We're just trying to make this make sense. We want it to be true, but it's just weird. I agree with you, Christina. I feel the way you do. However, there are a lot of people who are judging. I disagree slightly with that part. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who are just judging just for the sake of judging because they get their ish and giggles out of judging. I'm just like, for me, the original part was just to share the story because she was missing. And again, I was going to do the video on it. And then all of a sudden everything changed. Like before I could even get out with the video. I guess I just should have just jumped on live with half information like a lot of other people do. I don't like doing that. I like to have my research. But anyway, yeah, there are people judging, but I'm with you that I'm really just trying to make sense of it and, get the truth. Again, we were pulled into it. So I do agree with some of you who were saying in the sense of, well, they wanted us helping to find her, to spread the word, to this and this and this. And so they pulled us into it. So we're a part of this now. So I agree with that sense, with that. And so in that sense, yes, we do want answers, so to speak. But where I differ with some of the people like, give me my answer now. How dare you get me involved and not tell me what's happening? Where I differ is I'm like, take your time. I'm okay with waiting. I'm a patient person. But please let us know what the hell this was all about. Okay, I'm going to skip around. It's a lot of comments, y'all. Just sit down for now. MLT 13 said, wouldn't cameras or someone see a woman walking on the highway after she got out of the car? Yeah, it's just hard. I mean, there is the camera footage that it's out in the public. We can all see. It's just so dark and grainy and all of that, but you can't quite tell, whether human form, where she goes from there. She could have went in a ditch, which maybe, I don't know that area well enough to know if you can, well, y'all, those of you who live out that way, can you walk from that interstate down to the street? Or would you have to walk down the interstate somewhere and then go down the exit? Because sometimes you can walk down, the embankment and make your way to the street. I'm just wondering. Okay, I don't have moderators tonight, so it's hard for me to work through all the comments, and I got super chats coming in. I want to acknowledge them. So thank you, Majoli Nana I hope this isn't another Jussie Smollett case. I need this story to be true, because if it isn't, I'll look even worse. It'll look even worse for us Black women. Yeah, I don't like to, I'm with you, and hopefully it's not a Jussie Smollett situation. What I will not do, though, is allow this action, if this is false, this action of this one Black woman to taint all Black women. That's not how this works. Nobody else has to do that. No other race. Don't get me on the soapbox. Don't get me on the soapbox. No other race has to have that stigma of every time one of them do something, it applies to all of them. So we got to stop even feeding into that, because that's just not how it works. If she is a liar, is a scammer, hoax, whatever's going on, and this was all the rules, that ain't got ish to do with my mama, my cousins, all the other women in my life, or all of our people, women out here. Ain't got ish to do with y'all. So don't even keep feeding into that. That's what them others like to do to us, but that's just not the case. The action of one does not label the rest of us, and we're not going to label us. So hopefully it's not true. I mean, hopefully it's true. Well, you know, you don't want it to be true because it's horrible, but hopefully it's accurate that it did happen. It ain't just made up. But if it is, and she's a scammer, it ain't got nothing to do with no other Black woman, unless she's in, another Black woman's in on it. Hopefully not. Okay. Okay, I'm about to wrap this up. I'm gonna give y'all the 14 more minutes. We're gonna read whatever we read. And thank you for your super chat again, Nina. I feel like I went too far. Let me see what time. I just noticed I can see the comment, the times. Okay, 11:29. Okay, I'm gonna go to like 5 minutes before this. Yes, Mika, there's lots of judging going on. There's tons of judging going on. I've just seen a few. I haven't even like read all the posts or comments. I haven't read all the comments under, you know, social media posts, but the few things that I have started to see, I'm like, ouch, y'all, wow. Andrea Carr is saying, I've seen several stories on Discovery ID, Dateline, 2020, etc., where kidnappers brought the victims back and dropped them off near their homes. How soon folks forget. Thank you for that, because like I said, I couldn't think of any particular stories, but I have heard of that. It's just not something that I would say, oh God, that never happens. That's impossible. It is not. It happens for various reasons. Sometimes a kidnapper changes their mind. Sometimes they do whatever they wanted to do to the person, and they're done with them, and they take them safely back as close to where they got them from as possible, or where they live. I have heard of that. I have definitely heard of that. So thank you for confirming that as well. No one knows. She could have been tortured and broke free. Exactly, T. Darden. Thank you. And that's the piece too, where I'm like, give some grace, give some time. Let's go with this is true. If this is true, could you imagine if you were held captive and tortured for 48 hours, and then somehow the boyfriend said fought for her life, or whoever else said fought for your life, you make it home finally to a place you probably was thinking at times you would never see again in those moments. The last thing you're trying to do is hop on a television camera and tell a bunch of strangers, millions of strangers, what happened to you. That's the last thing you care about. I mean, you care about loving on your family care about loving on you, you sleeping, you having nightmares, you all of that. We got to be realistic with the human psyche and all of that, because the rest of us will pretty much sleep in peace tonight, especially knowing, you know, even those who may have had a sleepless night when they first heard about this story for various reasons. Sometimes these things trigger other thoughts in people's minds of their personal experiences, etc. Those things happen. But for the most part, many of us are going to sleep just fine. And we're going to sleep just fine until the press conference. So it's like, calm down, calm down. We can wait. Let this family heal. Okay. Okay. Lotus is saying, I have a very hard time believing it was a hoax, mental illness, delusion. That I can wrap my mind around. Yeah, I'm kind of with you as well, Lotus. I would be leaning more in that direction, like especially if there was never a toddler, there was never an abductor, perpetrator, all of that. I would say, well, maybe, you know, hopefully, well, I hate to say hopefully, like I'm wishing it on her or the situation, but I could then say, well, maybe this could have been a schizophrenic episode because maybe this person has them and we just don't know that. That hasn't been shared with the public. Not saying she's a Justice Smollett who just made up something to get clout. Now he made it up. It's clear at this point, and he's still lying. Still lying. I went to one of his film what do they call it? Debuts or whatever for a documentary. He was it a documentary? Wasn't a documentary, it was a short film. And I'm like, this dude acting like that. None of that happened. And it was in Chicago. But that's a whole nother story. That ain't, I'm off topic. But Jesse is still lying. Jesse's wasn't mental illness. Well, it's mental illness. It is mental illness. Narcissism. That's a mental illness. Clinical. But allegedly. But hers, it could be, you know, literally like a mental episode or something. Again, some of us have seen that. Some of us experienced that. Some of us have seen it on TV. It's possible. And it doesn't mean it's a hoax in that case. Alicia is saying, I understand that you still would have an evaluation and it takes longer than a couple hours. I guess you're talking about when they said that she was admitted into the hospital and for the evaluation or whatever, and then released and back home. I did have those thoughts, but then that just made me say, well, maybe there wasn't any, you know, physical, you know, hopefully. I'm watching my words. This is YouTube, y'all. Like there could have been essay could have happened to her, and then they would do a test kit, etc. Hopefully not, but it could have. And then, but they released her so quickly that it's likely that there's nothing, no major physical harm. That's still major physical harm. Y'all know what I'm saying. Because I don't want to make it light of that at all. Like that wouldn't be physical harm or hurtful. Thank you so much, Peaceful Queen, for your super chat. And you're saying, please, PSA, stay out of Hoover at night. Hashtag. Oh, you're saying hashtag. Oh, that was a different one. You're saying PSA, stay out of Hoover at night, hashtag sundowntown. Thank you for that warning. I will make a mental note of that, and any other anyone else. Again, I've never even heard of the town. And for those of you who don't know, sundown towns are towns where people of color are caught there. They may not leave there. And we have a couple cases of other places with recent stories with Rasheem Carter. And I forgot the other young man's name. I never heard back about that story. The young man who was able to escape the same fate as Rasheem Carter. I had a comment I was going to do, and then I lost my place, and then it made me get lost. It's a lot of comments, y'all. It's been a minute since I've had this, and then I'm doing it by myself. I think that's the big thing. I'm doing it by myself. But anyway, Felicia B, I don't know that anyone of us really expecting her to come out and make a statement, but where are the family reps? They were saying so much before the police, even Angela Harris has gone quiet. I truly believe that that's because of the current investigation. I've been in situations where there's some public involvement and then you got to go quiet because there's things happening that you can't talk about. And so what happens is you just go silent because you don't want a chance trying to give this much information, and then you say a little too much, and then it makes people want more information or more speculation, et cetera, et cetera. So instead, you go radio silent, and you to buy some time so that you know, you can then put everything, have everything get resolved first, closed case, investigation, et cetera, and then come to the public with the whole package without risking the rest of the situation, saying too much. And yeah. Faith Lives is saying Jesse had a mental breakdown. Okay. I hadn't heard that part, but I ain't saying it ain't true. I've never heard that part that he had. Did he ever admit to having a mental breakdown? Because all I've seen him do is completely deny all of the allegations. I've never seen him say that it was a mental health breakdown. I've heard him act as if he had no parts of it. It never happened in the way that they're saying. He never paid nobody, all that other stuff. So I don't know. But maybe you know something I don't know. Okay, I'm saying a lot of repeated comments. So I ain't gonna read what we read. I'm to see if I can find something that's not been said already. Let's see. Oh, that's a good point. Melissa Reed is saying she would still be in the hospital if it was a mental breakdown, but she is not. Possibly, because people can be let go on their own recognizance, even with a mental breakdown. Could have been had a schizophrenic episode in those 48 hours. By the time she got back home, she was no longer in that state. Went to the hospital, got checked out. Again, was no longer in that state. Got released, got sent back home. That's a possibility. Well, I hear you, because that's true as well. But that would be if she was still in that state, if that was the case. Carlee never said anything to us about kidnapping. Her parents requested support based on the info that they had, as they should have. Not sure why people are crucifying her. We've been running with this story. Yes, Mika, but that's what people do with these stories, period. I mean, I'm not sure if you followed the Shanquilla Robinson story, but for months, people just ran. I mean, you heard it all. And with speculations and all of that, that's what people do with these stories. I hear you, though. Michelle Cochran is saying there was also another incident just like here's the other day in town, not too far from Hoover. Interesting. And did that person, Michelle, also get found or show back up? It'd be nice to have some details on that, Michelle, because if that's the case, then this is something that people need to be aware of. Cosmo is saying such nice kidnappers. What, I guess to return her, if that's the case. Okay. I think that's it. That's this a lot. I can't wait to rewatch my own replay of this and read all of y'all comments, because there's some interesting things here, but it's so many that my eyes are also getting lost, and it's late. So with that, I thank all of you who have joined me this evening. If you are new to this channel, this would be a great time to hit that subscribe button below, and also definitely hit that like button. And with that, and thank you to my moderators on the front end. I don't know. I think Marianne, and I can't remember. I saw a few of our moderators. Oh, Donna Hammond. And thank you to everyone else that I may have missed. And with that, until next time, follow me on all of my platforms. And if you want to get information on when I upload new videos, etc., hit that link in the pinned comment above or pinned chat above, and that'll let you know how to stay in touch with me. So with that, until next time, take care and be blessed. Peace.